Hey kids, welcome back to Uncle Fezzi's Mad Lab. Well, what's Uncle Fezzi up to today? Well, this is a multifaceted video. Now, years and years and years ago, one of the first videos I ever put up was about a Nikonos IV camera, 35mm film camera that I bought from an elderly, well, actually from the estate of an elderly photographer. It's a great video, and I love that camera dearly. Well, not for nothing. Here it is. I done broke it. And I actually don't think I broke it. Long story short, I think I put bad batteries in it. And then bought new batteries, and I think those batteries were dead. And I ended up taking them apart. Well, part of the side effect of that was now I can't fix it. So these things are notorious for breaking this battery connection. They're notorious for breaking their battery holder, and it's something that happens to them, and it is incredibly difficult to replace. You literally have to disassemble the entire camera to fix it. Now, I tried to 3D print one. I did, and actually I may, before this whole project is done, I may fix this camera. It's never going to be watertight again, I know that. And truth be told, I generally don't carry that camera around for any reason other than as a fucking weapon. So, for my birthday, I decided that I was going to buy myself another one. Now, the Nikonos IV, which I have the housing here. Okay, so this is the housing. So the Nikonos IV was an aperture priority only camera. And shortly after, this camera was a very short production run, and it's really not worth a whole lot of money. It's a great camera. It works. It worked perfectly, and it actually still did work with no battery. What it would do is it just shoots at 90th of a second, and it doesn't have a meter in it. Well, you can shoot Sunny 16 and keep your fingers crossed and hope everything comes out right. You also couldn't adjust the shutter speed. So, not long after the Nikonos IV-A came out, the photography people that were using it were like, well, we want a manually controlled camera. So what did they do? Well, they came out with the Nikonos V. Now, you can buy a Nikonos V. You could buy a Nikonos V up till 2001, as that's when they completed the run of the Nikonos series cameras. They stopped building them. So I looked high and low here in the United States, and I did find some. They were about $300 or $400, and they were all bright orange. I found one in Japan that was olive drab, and I ordered it Friday, October 3rd. It is now Tuesday, October 7th, and DHL delivered my camera. So we're going to have an unboxing video, and hopefully I am not going to be disappointed, so you can all get to see my disappointment, which I will post if this is not what I want. And if the pictures of the camera are indicative of what I bought, I think this thing is the bomb diggity. See, it smells like Japan. It smells like a cardboard box. Okay, and I bought this from a dude named Nagasaka, Kenji Nagasaka. Daisen West Kopo 105-629-10 Roboco Roko Satime Sakura Satimiya, Japan. Cost me $50 to get it into the country. And I'll tell you what, it's already well wrapped. Seal Air. They must get their stuff from Uline too. It doesn't have a box, which I knew. We all know that the Japanese love their cameras. I go out and I look like a Japanese tourist because I bring all my cameras with me. I don't have them surrounding me right now like a miser. Let's see. The one thing I'm a little curious about is that it said it worked, which would be fantastic if it does. I really hope it does. I do have a roll of film I can throw in it and shoot. I generally only shoot black and white out of this thing. Nikonos V. It feels right. It's a lunker. What sold me on this was it looked like it had never actually been wet. These things are notorious for corrosion. My 4 has some corrosion on it. This didn't look like it had any corrosion on it except for right around the bottom of the tripod socket, which doesn't shock me. Another thing is, it came with the original seal kit, and these seal kits are like chicken lips. And the goo, which is still soft. It's fan-fucking-tastic. That's a strap. That's why I didn't hack at it with a knife, because I knew it had a seal on it. Holy Jesus. This thing looks brand fucking new. It's got a little, it did show a little bit of haze on the front plastic. It's actually glass on the front plastic. Holy crap. This thing literally looks like it's brand new. Yeah, so there's a little bit of corrosion on the bottom here. Let's pop the battery out. It looks like it had a battery in it. Let's see if this works. It'd be nice if this was greased. So this is where the battery goes. I may put a little grease on it. See if it has a battery in it. I'm excited. So I bought this camera without a lens because my lens, my 35mm f2 that came with the camera, f2.5, is absolutely pristine and crystal clear. It does have a little bit of corrosion on here, which I'm going to clean off before I put this on the camera. And I'll grease it before I put it together. But that's kind of the other reason I bought it, is I didn't need a lens. And I'll just keep using this. The quarter works best, but let me get a quarter. Oh, that was my phone. Oh, I didn't break my phone. I threw it on the floor. Now this is the tell right here. If I take this battery compartment out and it's got cheese in it, then I'm going to be a little bit pissy because, you know, that happens with old cameras. Oh my God, it's fucking pristine. This thing is fucking pristine. Now, let's see if I can break the battery compartment. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of slickum. We're going to put a little slickum on. Now, interesting thing to note. Shit, this isn't even, I don't even think it's even been opened. Interesting thing to note, this O-ring grease is it is silicone? Or it's non-silicone, it's petroleum based. So what a lot of people did, much to their own, what a lot of people did was use regular grease, or they used the wrong kind of grease for these cameras. And what happened is it severely damaged the O-rings. The fucking tube is sealed. Oh my God. I couldn't be, I'm speechless. That's all you need. You only need a little bit. I'm going to put some on that lens too before I put it in there. Actually, I might clean that lens up before I do that even. So I'm just going to throw a little grease on the seal. Any of the divers will tell you that you really need to grease these seals. If you don't grease the seals, it's really bad for the camera. Now, just out of curiosity, I'm going to take a second here. So, of course, I get a phone call while I'm trying to record a video, right? So I'm going to take a second here, because I've never actually, well, so this is the other cool thing. Oh, I actually have the repair manual here for both cameras. You can download these from the internet. This is the actual original Nikon factory or service manual, which is cool. I'm going to get back to this camera, just not today. This is all of the information. I wonder if it's in Japanese. I'm floored. This is the original box tag, or the original price tag, 80,000 yen, I guess. And Nikonos V, and the instructions are all in Japanese. That's fine, because, you know, the camera did come from Japan. Let's face facts here. I don't need the... Oh. Ah. Interesting. So it's showing you can either use a 3-volt battery or two 170 or two of these. So we're going to use two of these, and hopefully I won't fucking break it putting it together. So this is the old one. Because this shows two 1.5 volts, but the instructions manuals shows two, or a single battery. And I said, this is what killed my other one, was trying to jam the batteries in. So, that was not cool. A little grease on that thing made my life a lot easier. To battery. I am absolutely fucking excited here. So this opens a little differently than this one. So this camera used the latch. So this you can see. Well, I go over this in my other video. So this camera used this type of latch to lock it, and then you would seal it that way. This one has a little bit different back on it, or a different way to control it, which is fine. Let's just take a quick peek in here and make sure there's no film in it. Okay, so this uses a cam lock instead. Oh my god, I don't think this thing's even ever had film in it. Holy smokes. I'm going to grease that seal a little too. The inside of this has never been flooded. You can usually tell right away when a camera's been flooded, especially at Nikonos, because, well, not for nothing, they look like they've been flooded. Well, that's not a good sign. I'm not getting anything out of the front. But that doesn't mean there's something broken. That just means I might not be working it properly. It's interesting. This thing is so well sealed that it doesn't want to take the cap, the body cap. There's too much pressure on it. You have to burp it like an old Tupperware. Okay, so we put the batteries in, and I wonder if those batteries are bad. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I just actually couldn't see it, and I just needed a second to wake up. Holy smokes! 250. 125. The meter's working. This is fan-fucking-tastic. I couldn't be more fucking happy right now. I'm actually going to shut the camera off. So what I need to do here is clean this a little bit of cheese off of this thing. And I'm going to clean this a little bit of corrosion off of here. And then I'm going to put the lens on it. And then I'm going to put a roll of film in this fucker. And I'm going to run out and shoot pictures with it. And I'm so happy. So this camera is a little bit different than this one. It's almost identical in construction. But there is some differences in the actual physical structure of the camera. The other thing I'm going to do is run the serial number. 3510147. So, yeah, I mean the rubber's a little sticky, but that's normal for old rubber. Like I said, I don't know how old this camera is. I am so fucking happy right now. I'm like totally 100% out of my mind happy. I couldn't be happier. I printed this body cap today. Hey, imagine that, my fucking camera shut off. You know, instead of spending $350 on a 30-year-old film camera, I probably should have spent $350 on a new GoPro. But I didn't do that. So here we are, we're back. So I greased the 35mm lens. The whole reason I bought this camera is because of this lens. This lens is fantastic. It's an absolutely fantastic lens. I can't quite frankly, I can't describe how fantastic this lens is. The other cool thing about this lens is you can actually flip this lens over. You can flip this lens over depending on how you want to operate it. This camera, and I should have mentioned this too, this camera, because I didn't mention it, I went over it in my other video on the Nikonos camera. This camera actually doesn't have a viewfinder. There's no way to... This isn't a rangefinder camera. This is a guest finder camera. So, the lens, the camera... Fuck, I keep dropping my phone. Son of a bitch. I have to end up buying myself a new fucking phone, too. So, let's see here. Let's see if this will do this. So, this camera has the aperture on the bottom, and it's controlled by this knob here. Okay? And then it has the focal length is up here, and that's this side here. Now, it also has a depth of field preview right here. These two little knobs, if I turn it, you can see the knobs moving. See those little lines, those little indicator lines? So that tells you what your depth of field is, and it actually works pretty good. So one of the things with this camera, because I've used it a lot, is, well, two things. One is you have to remember the difference between feet and meters, because feet is on the top, meters is on the bottom, and I'm an American, and my car gets 5 rods to the hogshead, and that's the way I like it. So, one of the things I do with this camera is I will pre-focus this camera. So I will want to be within 10 feet of a subject, and then if I'm shooting at, we'll say, f5.6, which I shoot at a lot, it gives me about 5 feet either way for that subject to be in relatively decent focus. With a 35mm lens, that's not bad. So the other thing I found out, I actually had to break out the owner's manual here. I couldn't figure out why the meter wasn't working off the bat. And that's because, dummy me, I had to read the instructions, right? The meter doesn't want to operate until it gets to number 1 on the frame counter. For those of you that don't know what a frame counter is, in the olden days, you only had 12, 24, or 36 pictures that you could take on a camera. So you had to think a lot more before you took a picture. It's not like nowadays with a digital camera where I shoot literally gazillion pictures. Actually looks like somebody had put a finder on this. This camera may have had, these cameras came with, there was 3 lenses for this, a 35, a 20, which is like really crazy, and it had like this weird viewfinder that you had to put on the top of it, and then a 90, I think, very similar to my X Pro 1s. So just a real quick, and the other thing is this thing works so you can hold it away from yourself when you look into it. It's interesting, oh yeah, there it is. This one doesn't really work as good as the one in this camera. Yeah, it's hard. I'll never be able to show what's going on here. But there's a like the frame lines are here on the outside. So this camera's actually supposed to be used like this. You're not supposed to hold it all the way up to your face. You're actually supposed to hold it away from your face, 40 millimeters, which is probably about that far, which is as far away as a mask. And it also takes into consideration the magnification of being underwater. So a 35 millimeter lens underwater is actually closer to a 50 millimeter lens. Yeah, I can't get over how happy I am with this. So that's it. That's my Nikonos V, my 30-year-old film camera, which I use as a club. I didn't put the factory strap on it. I put my strap on it. Just because I can. I'm going to shoot a roll. I actually have a couple rolls of C41 process color film floating around, along with 6 rolls of Tri-X. I'm going to soup my own Tri-X, but I don't feel like doing it right now. Once I mix the chemicals, I have to use them, so I'm just kind of like, I don't necessarily feel like doing that. So yeah, there you go. Uncle Fezzi bought himself a 30-year-old film camera.